Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to SportsBites, the self-proclaimed #1 sports podcast, bringing you the best of both worlds, sports and snacks. I'm here again this evening with my good friend Brent, Dr. Mike.
What's up, everybody?
Dr. Mike on the mic. How you doing tonight, Brent?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Happy to have you here, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year. Like I said last one, we're getting this thing kicked off, trying to do a few things a little different. Gonna move in a good direction this year. I'm feeling good about 2024. Feeling good about this podcast.
So far, so good.
Feeling good about where we're going. I mean, you're a Ravens fan, so you got to be.
I'm feeling it. Yep, I've got the week off, brother.
Nice.
Number one seed. Let's go. We'll get into it.
That's it. So we just want to start some things off here. Let's see here. I'm going to start it off as we have been for the last couple of weeks, last couple of episodes. Just want to get out there. We are up to 21 subscribers. Not a big number, but we just got this thing started, man. I'm happy with that.
That's
super
a good number.
stoked about that.
That's a good number. I like it.
That's 21 eyes we didn't have before. So you know what? I'm super stoked about that. I want to keep on adding on here. We say it every time. Everybody, like, subscribe, comment. We want to get your voices out here. We want to see the comments. We want stuff we want to talk about stuff you want us to talk about. We've said a couple of times, when we hit 50 subscriptions, or subscribers rather, we're doing the 50 sub giveaway. Not announcing what it is yet, trying to get closer to that number. I know we've hit on a few times.
I heard it's going to be good.
It's going to be really good.
I heard it's going to be good.
Let me just put it out there. Sports and snacks. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. And like we've said, 50 is the one to be in. Best odds.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, 1 in 50.
Absolutely.
1 in 50.
So that's where we're at. Everybody, it's been super fun doing this. It's already been a blast. I've had such fun doing this.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off the way we always do. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple snacks in here. So I know we've been doing a lot of sweets. Doing a lot of sweets lately, man. And I love the sweets. Don't get me wrong. I love the sweets, but felt like it was time we needed to shift gears to show everybody that we're not just about the candy. We're not just about the sweets.
Yeah.
Snacks are not just about the sweet stuff.
Right.
Sports day, man, the sweets usually come after you're wasted. But for real, there's so many good things that we haven't hit on, and we've got such a list of good things to snack on. So today, we're going to move away from the sweets a little bit. I know I brought some. I know you brought some. We're going to hit on a few things. So let's see here. Let me go ahead and get off camera and get our stuff. So what I brought tonight is, we got the classic, man. Got football playoffs coming up. And to me,
Does that say blazing?
That does say blazing. Oh, that does say blazing. So here's the deal. I've got us half and half. Half and half. So we've got Bullet Bourbon Barbecue on half. All right.
Yes.
Now, I don't know about you, but I love me some Bullet Bourbon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can't really, I love bourbon in general. I mean.
Nice.
So I think that's going to be good. And that's a limited time sauce. That's why we went ahead and got it. And then we've got Blazing Knockout. Now, Blazing Knockout is a new sauce.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so I've done Blazing once, and I'm like, I don't do great with the hot stuff, but I can deal with it. Blazing's rough. I can eat wild pretty good. Blazing's rough. Blazing Knockout, I have no idea what the hell we're in for on this one. It could be like, this isn't near as bad. This could be like,
You got me nervous, but we are for hot takes, so why not have some hot wings?
My guy. And so I'm going to throw this out there to get started, just, because I'm a full disclosure kind of guy. I'm an open book. So I'm going to let you know, I got us traditional wings.
Yeah,
I am a boneless wings guy, though.
Those are adult chicken nuggets.
They're not adult chicken nuggets.
They're
not. So I'll be, while we're cracking into this, I'm going to go ahead and let it out now. Boneless wings are not adult chicken nuggets because chicken nuggets are minced chicken.
Yes.
Boneless wings, whole chicken.
Okay.
Different.
We'll agree to disagree, but I'm telling you now, those are just adult chicken nuggets.
But, honestly, every now and again, I get a hankering. I get a hankering for some traditional wings, and I'm like, you know what? Nothing's going to satisfy that craving until I get some traditional wings. You know what? Tonight's that night.
All right, let's do it, bro.
Tonight is that night.
Now, which one is bullet and which one is hot?
We're going to find out. There's only going to be one way to find out. They just put blazing
All right.
on honestly, they only put blazing on the box, even though she said they were half and half. For all I know, they're all blazing.
So you start with that side, and I'll start with this side, and we'll see which one's which.
Okay, we can do
Because
that.
one's going to be spicier than the other.
I'm going to tell you now, from the look of them, if I had to guess, I think I'm getting off easy with the first one then. Okay. So, I'm going for the flats.
You know what? And for the sake of the pod, I'm going to just raw dog the first one. No blue cheese, no nothing.
No blue cheese, no nothing. I'm with you. Cheers, my friend. Let's see what we got here. That's bullet bourbon.
This one's not. Okay.
All right. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good. I can dig it.
Bro, that's hot. It's good.
I hope I share.
Let's see how long
your
this
same
one takes.
sentiment.
Let's see how long that takes to creep up on me. It's lingering, bro.
Is it like a slow gain?
No, it's like a flamethrower.
Oh shit!
I'm sweating already. I don't know if you out there can see it beating on my head already, but woo!
I'm over here making a mess of some flats.
You know what? I'm good with the one bite, my dude. That's hot.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
They need the blue cheese, but for the pod, going all in.
That was really good. I have not had that. The bullet bourbon barbecue, really good.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go for it, bro. I'm gonna just go
switch
for
it up.
Yep, switching it up. All right, here we go. This is the what I say, blazing knockout.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're just gonna do it like this. Because while I do like boneless wings, I do know a couple of the traditional wings tricks. So we're just gonna go ahead and allow. Oh god, what a mess.
Oh my god. It's really catching up with me. Those are hot. Those are hot, brother. Well, dead air.
Oh shit.
The little processing bar is over your head.
Oh, that's good.
Hang in there, Randy.
Uh-oh. Hiccups too. Damn.
You need to do a shot of blue cheese over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe for more stupid ass ideas by me. Oh.
Those are hot, brother.
Yeah. I'm like standing up because I've already forgot that I brought my drink over. Oh. Much better.
Hot wings, hot taste.
Much better. Golly. I'm going to drink that whole glass after that
My
one
nose
wing.
is running.
Yeah. You're right. They're good. That's good. Shit, that's hot.
This was Randy's idea, by the way.
Oh, my God.
I don't see how anybody could eat a dozen of those.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I see no pleasure in eating those.
Mm-mm.
Oh, my God.
Hang in there, bud.
We're going to make it. We're going to make it. Get a towel.
Excuse me. We can edit some of this.
Huh?
So we can edit some of this.
No editing. That's not how we do it on
Oh,
SportsBites.
shit. Okay. All right. I just know my man needed to take a break. We're struggling over here.
Oh, yeah. We're keep on. So I'm rolling through for the people. Like and subscribe. I'm going to say that a lot. Oh,
Okay.
I got notes, but they're blurry. All right. 50 sub giveaway. Like and subscribe.
Come back next week for more wing content.
The shitty thing is, we always do our review at the end.
What's your review now?
That means at the very least I'm going to have to eat one more.
No, you're not.
I'm going to do one more at the end.
Bold.
Oh, damn. I need something vinegary to kill that heat.
Vinegary. Well, it just so happens I brought some chips. These are Zappos New Orleans kettle style voodoo chips. All right. Maybe this will take the edge off. I've never had these before, but you told me beforehand you really like these. Are these spicy as well?
No. They're epically good. They're like Cajun salt and vinegar and barbecue all mixed.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I can still kind of taste it.
Right?
Now that my mouth's been nuked.
Oh.
You know. Go nuts.
I'm not gonna lie, that wing fucking hurt.
Yo, that shit hurt, dude. That was so spicy. My nose is running. I'm sweating.
Yeah, I'm like... But hey,
do you know what peppers they put in there?
fucking every one of them.
All of them.
I guess just the Nicaraguan death pepper. They're like, put 8 of them in it.
Yeah, we need 8. Woo! All right.
All right, here we...
Woo.
Damn. Now my nose is running.
All right.
Here we go.
Woo! Woo! You're awake now.
I'm just going to bring this to the table. All right, yeah.
That is the hottest wing I've ever eaten. I think they got the knockout part right.
I'm not exaggerating when I say there for a minute, like, my vision went blurry for a sec. Because it was like, it's not bad. Dude, those first few bites is like, oh, it's not bad. It's hot. But it's got some flavor to it. It's got some, and then all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah, you're right. And then just burn.
oh my God.
I'm getting better.
Yeah, it's,
The chips help.
yeah. All right, well, Voodoo Chips. Thank you for the Voodoo Chips, Brent. Thank God for the Voodoo Chips.
I will not raw dog those wings again. I will use food.
Dude,
Take it from Dr. Mike. Raw dogging isn't always the best option.
those are not doctor prescribed.
No.
Unless you're going to have a colonoscopy.
All right. Woo. All right. We can start the pod now, right? Officially?
I think so.
Have you recuperated?
That's funny because I had this whole segment about like, oh, drums are flat. What's your wing? Da, da, da. None of that shit matters anymore. Like,
Firmly a drums guy. I like drums.
I hate wings now.
Okay. Woo.
This has like 180'd my whole thing. Like I hate wings now. I love ice. That's my new favorite. That's my new favorite snack. Chipped ice or what is it?
Chewy ice.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A ice. That's where it's at. Oh,
I think at Wawa up north you can get the chewy ice. They have
Really?
that in stock, yeah.
All right, here we go. We got this.
All right, let's go, buddy.
Voodoo Chips. Bomb.
I actually, like I said, I've never had those. Those are very good.
Yeah.
I always prefer a kettle style
Yes.
as opposed to any kind of other style like original Lay's. Not to shit on original Lay's. They're fine for what they are.
Yes.
But a kettle style chip,
Yeah. Even better than like I love like a ruffled chip because they're thicker and they've got still better. Don't touch kettle. They don't touch kettle.
no
So,
way. All right. Whew.
Well, all right now that I can breathe and I'm stopped crying, let's talk some sports, Brett.
All right, let's do it.
We got
the bites done. Let's do the sports.
All right. Well, I know you brought the voodoo chips. Let's talk about a little voodoo magic.
Well, voodoo magic, that's right. I brought the voodoo chips because I thought they were fitting. We're going to talk NFL playoffs later, but I thought when I think of voodoo, I think of curses. Someone back there poking the doll with the needle. One team I thought about in these NFL playoffs that might have been cursed, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Started out 8-3. They go to Pittsburgh. They wave the terrible towel in the air to taunt and say, "Hey, we got you." They finished the season. They finished the season 9-8. They go 1-5 to finish the season and miss the playoffs. At one point in time, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC, and now they're sitting at home. Voodoo cursed.
The curse of the towel.
Curse of the towel.
Well,
it truly is a terrible towel.
And I'll be honest with you. So I'm a big believer in the whole, I'm a superstitious sports fan in general.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that, you don't put juju on your team like that. Wait, you want to talk some shit? That's fine. Wait till the season's over. Win the whole thing. Win the whole thing. Talk your smack then. When you go into something that's not even close to guaranteed, and you start talking smack, that's what happens.
Exactly. So the voodoo curse, NFL 2023, it's got to be Jacksonville.
Got to be.
And now their whole franchise is up. Is Peterson the right coach? Is Lawrence the right guy? It all just fell apart. Mm-hmm. And it's got to be because of that towel.
Which
they're
is
voodoo
funny
cursed.
Because I've come to realize this year more than any year, no matter how promising a team looks, when things go south, their fans, it doesn't matter what team it is, fans look for blood when your team goes south. You want to talk about cursed? Philadelphia. Philadelphia. You've got a team that went to the Super Bowl last year and played their hearts out. Great team to start the season off. Start off 10-1.
Mm-hmm.
We go on this massive slide. Lose the final game to the Giants. Now you've got Philadelphia fans talking about Sirianni needs to be fired. Completely wipe the front office. No, new OC, new DC. Jalen's not pulling his weight. A.J. Brown's not. I'm like, dude, what are you people talking about? This happens in football.
It does. And, sometimes you get that Super Bowl match.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, so the Eagles, man, everybody now, all these Philly fans calling for Sirianni's head, and all these front office people, and the GM, and the coordinators, and players, and all this. And I'm like, man, this happens in sports. It happens in football. Most sports, and I always say this, whenever anybody that I know that doesn't watch baseball asks anything about it, I tell them baseball more than anything. It's a game of streaks and slumps. Football is the same way. It's a shorter season, so you don't see those streaks and slumps near as much.
Right.
But it's just as easy to streak as it is to slump. And that's what happens, man.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to recapture a little bit of that Super Bowl magic they were having. They went on a run. Some of the stats they had last year they're not there this year, right? They had a great pass rush last year, lots of sacks. It's just not there this year. So they do have a little bit of that voodoo curse on them. So when we get to the playoffs, we'll talk about it. And maybe there's a little magic. Maybe there's a little reversal in store for the Eagles psychologically, because that's the only way they can get rid of it. So we'll see.
That's what I'm hoping for, because I'm going to tell you now, an episode that we hit on way back was the Rashard Mendenhall Pro Bowl. And I'm going to tell you now, the Eagles secondary looks like the team that's playing Rashard Mendenhall's team. I know we all joked about that, but it was true. It's like, man, we can hang with them, just can't let them get over the top. Our secondary's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, and with Darius Slay, he's been out the past couple games. I'm not sure if he's going to – I know the Eagles are a little banged up heading into the playoffs. They need him. But even he, he cannot be everything.
Nah.
He needs help. And Bradbury is not doing it. Blankenship's not doing it.
Unless
I forget the guy who had the 99-yard pick six. He's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out. So it's just, there's a lot of issues in that secondary. And as you know, defense wins.
Yes.
Defense wins championships. So they're going to have to come up with something offensively to help mitigate that defense a little bit and help them out. But it is an uphill climb for the Eagles, for real.
Uphill big time. That's an Everest climb right now.
Right now, yeah.
We're not even at like camp 3 or 4. We're like at base camp still.
And we forgot the oxygen tanks.
Yeah.
We're a little messed up right now.
We're struggling. We are struggling. Well, let's while we're hitting on that, let's look at a couple other things. So, got New Orleans.
Okay. Yeah.
Big win for New Orleans over the weekend.
Great chips from New Orleans, kettle style.
Yes, kettle style voodoo. little voodoo. So it looked like at the end of that game, like Jameis Winston pulled a little voodoo magic out. Tell me your thoughts on this whole scenario because, hearing one, Atlanta's coach was pissed. I mean, he was fired up. And to be honest, he probably has a right to be upset about that.
Sure.
We look at, as football fans, you want to win by a comfortable margin, but there is a line that you cross when you're running the score up. Unnecessary scores, I get that. At the same time, the reasoning behind it, I feel like at least it wasn't like, well, we were just trying to pound another touchdown on them. They had a reason behind it, and at least that, I saw an interview with Shannon Sharp, I think it was yesterday or today, where he was talking about it, and he was like, if I'm the coach, Jameis Winston is cut today. I'm cutting him right now. He's done. New Orleans coach, he's out. He was like, he has lost the locker room. If you're calling plays, and these guys go out on the field, and they're like, it was a team decision, so we did that, he said, you have lost the team. You have lost the team. You have a team that is making their own decisions that are your decisions to make. He said he's probably done too. But he said more than anything, Jameis is out. What's your thoughts on this? Because I kind of see both sides of it.
You're right. Yeah, I see both sides, and I get it from the Atlanta perspective. When you line up in victory formation, 99.99% of the times, you take a knee, right? And everybody just kind of takes the play off, you run the clock out, you go home.
Yeah.
So I can see why the former Atlanta coach, would be pissed and be like, hey, what the hell, dude? But Jameis being Jameis, maybe trying to win over the locker room, just trying to be a good teammate.
Yes.
And give his guy, Jamal Williams, who, by the way, last year led the league in rushing touchdowns, and this year had a goose egg.
Yeah.
Let's give him one.
Yeah.
I'll deal with it. Let's give my boy one. Because the guys that you go to battle with are going to respect you for that.
Absolutely. They're going to fight for you.
And the coaches and the press, in 2 weeks, this will not be a story. So he does not care. Yeah. But to Jamal Williams, this will mean a lot. Be like, hey, man, I needed a little love.
Yes.
Thanks for it. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's, my thing is, as a running back, you probably don't ever, once you've started playing legit ball and you're scoring touchdowns and you're getting some play time every year, I don't think you ever want to see a point in your career where you don't put up a touchdown.
Right.
You want every opportunity you can, and when you haven't gotten a lot of opportunities and you haven't made the best of the ones that you've gotten, I guess you'd say, and I'm not saying that's necessarily Williams' position on this, but I get it. Yeah, you come off a season where you lead the league, and then you come on to a 0 touchdown season. That's got to be tough mentally.
Yeah.
And I think that as a teammate, I respect the shit out of that. I respect it, just because you showed your guy, like, hey man, forget all these coaches, forget everybody. We've got your back.
Right.
We've got your back. You're our guy. We're your guys. We got you. I do think that if you're going to do that, at the very least, you line up in V formation and then maybe audible out and change the formation up so they see it.
Yeah.
I don't really care for the V formation and then running the ball because the defense has taken the play off. The game is over to them. They're literally
It's a little,
defenseless.
it's a little disrespectful. Give them a shot. Give them a shot to run the play. Be like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to run a play. Stop us.
Yeah. And deep down, Saints had 3 timeouts at the time when they ran that play. I personally think that they did not audible out or change the play because they knew the moment they audible that play out, coach calls a timeout, pulls everyone to the sideline, probably cusses every player on offense, sits Williams, takes him out of the game completely, and then forces you to go back in and V it out anyway. Maybe even puts a backup quarterback in to go in and V it out. It's a lose-lose scenario, really, because if a coach does that, well, now you've lost respect.
Right.
Whether you wanted to or not, whether it was the right or wrong thing to do, you've lost respect for your guys because you forced that hand. I think a last-second audible would have been the way to go. Or even, like, on the way out, get your guys together, explain it. Like, hey, we're going out. Here's the signal. As soon as I hit the signal, switch to this, quick snap, let them go. You're still going to get that touchdown most likely. I also think that Williams, man, like, deep down, I get it. He got his touchdown, kept him out of being skunked on the touchdown.
Yeah, keep him out of the goose egg, yeah.
But he didn't earn it, and I think deep down you got to know, like, you could have moonwalked into the end zone on that one. And so...
Yeah, I think Dennis Allen did come out and apologize.
He did.
To the other coach and just be like, hey, because there's just, that maybe violates an unwritten code.
Absolutely.
And so that's why he was so mad.
Yes, absolutely. And again, 100% I understand the anger at the end of that one. Is it a cheap play? Yes. I mean, there's no way around it. It's a cheap play because you didn't give – if you want to run a legit play, give the defense an opportunity to at least play defense.
But Jameis is a bit of a wild card. We all know this.
Dude, absolutely.
A few weeks ago, he showed up to the stadium did you hear this? When he showed up with an empty briefcase. And he brings it in front of the team. And he opens it because everyone's wondering, hey, what's in the briefcase? He opens it and there's nothing in it. And he says, there's nothing in this because there's nothing stopping us between us and the playoffs. He's a bit of a wild card. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, he is the ultimate teammate. Like, he's a good guy. I want you to,
yeah.
I listened to Part of My Take, and they did an interview with Jimbo Fisher. And he had nothing but great things to say about Jameis.
He's passionate and plays for his team.
About being a good teammate and being there for his guys and working really hard. Mm-hmm. So who's not to say he probably could have played a little bit better than Derek Carr? Who knows? But, he hooked his boy up with a touchdown. And like I said, in 2 weeks, this will not matter.
Yeah. I will say in a few weeks it would be really nice. I've got some people reaching out to his people. And I'm going to see if, we can ever get some of those really good crab legs on for our snack segment.
I need them freshly stolen from Publix.
I hear he cooks them really well. Oh, man. But, no, I mean, I love Jameis, to be honest with you. Not the greatest quarterback in the pros. He did it for us, brought us the national title in Florida State. But he's a great dude. I like him. I admire what he did. The briefcase thing, I didn't know about that. To me, if I'm going to do that, what I'm probably doing is waiting until this point now and bringing the briefcase on. And when everyone is like, what is that? I'm opening the briefcase. When they see nothing in there, I'm going to tell them, this is because you have earned nothing up to this point. You have earned a spot in the playoffs. That's it. You have earned nothing.
You just got Jameis.
Exactly. It's almost on the same level as getting Rick rolled. It's pretty close. You just got Jameis. All right. Well, let's move on. Staying with the NFL, with the playoffs, let's talk about some teams that are under some pressure.
Okay.
A lot of damn pressure in the playoffs this year, and I know a couple of them. We've already hit on one that the pressure could not be higher right now, and that's Philadelphia. I'm not going to harp on it. We've talked about them for weeks now, watching the steady decline of Philadelphia. If they don't get their shit in gear quick, it's done, and it's going to hurt them for not just this season. It's going to hurt them moving into next season, too.
Randy, I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. I think they are under no pressure whatsoever because the expectations are down here. They are expecting them to maybe go to Tampa Bay and just fade out of the playoffs and just be done because they've been in such disarray. I don't think they're under any pressure. Now, internally, you might be feeling that because you're an Eagles fan. You're feeling the pressure, but I'm talking league-wide, no pressure at all. If they go and win a game, great, they beat Tampa, right? Then they maybe have to go play, the Cowboys or the Lions whoever's left. And let's see, they're a 5 seed, they're a 5 seed. So who are they gonna? They're gonna have to go play a higher seed potentially. So
to me, everyone other than the Lions, the Eagles have something to prove against. We got completely shit on by San Fran earlier in the season. If we ever made it to get to play them again, you have a chip on your shoulders. You want to eliminate that bad loss. The Cowboys, it's the Cowboys. You want to beat the Cowboys. They're division rival, probably your most hated rival. America's team, which I've never understood America's team.
Right.
When you've got Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell, the Constitution signing, everything America came out of Philadelphia. How the hell is Dallas America's team?
I don't know.
Whatever. It is what it is. You've got all of this. Everyone except really for the Lions. There's really no storyline script to the Eagles-Lions.
None.
Even Tampa Bay, not necessarily because it's Tampa Bay, but because of what you just said. Like, everyone's kind of expecting you to come in and just
lay an egg.
Off. That's it.
Yeah.
And my only problem with that is I like that mindset. I love the hope that mindset is true. My only problem is if that's the case, seeing starters playing against the Giants, still losing that one, even if that was what you're trying to do, now you get A.J. Brown hurt because you played starters. If you were planning on doing that, do you really play starters the whole game? Or do you go ahead and start just sitting them early and saying, all right, we concede. I mean, to be honest with you, 24 points scored against us, none scored against them before halftime. You can sit guys in the second quarter and just call it.
Right.
Instead of worrying about letting guys get hurt. That was where I was at, was like, if you're going to do it, yeah, okay, play the first quarter, see how you're doing. If for some reason, because at the time I'm like, it's the Giants. Deep down, I'm like, we've had a rough few weeks, but at least it's the Giants. Like, we go in there, we beat the Giants, we get a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs, we're good. And I walked away from the TV and came back in, it was 24-0, and I was like, holy shit, what just happened? I do not understand what just happened. And to me, at that point, can you still come back from that? Absolutely. But do you really want to risk guys going in the playoffs to try to come back 24 points against the Giants?
Yeah, right. But a team in the NFC that I think, me personally, that is under the most pressure, is the Dallas Cowboys, actually.
Absolutely.
Now, because what you have is they are America's team, right? Whether you like it or not. They've been anointed America's team, right? You have Dak having a career year. CeeDee Lamb, career year. The two of them together, unstoppable at times. At home,
I like that little add-on. At times.
At times. When they are at home, they are very good.
Yeah.
Their point differential is through the roof when they are at home. On the road, that's a different story. But they are at the 2 seed. So the only place they're going to have to go is, if it comes down to it, is San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we know what happened to them when last time they went out there. The most pressure right now is on the Dallas Cowboys. Dak needs to win. Jerry Jones needs them to win. And they need to shed this "we're not good" on the road mentality. And you want to talk about a fan base going nuts? You and me both. We find Cowboys fans obnoxious because...
Oh, most definitely.
Because it's this cycle every year. They say, "We them boys," and then they go out.
The boys are back.
They fade out. They lose to San Francisco. If they get over that...
No offense, Raj. You're the man. You're the man. I still love you, bro.
So that is the hurdle they've got to get over. And we'll talk about them. Like I said, we'll dissect some of these playoff games later. I got a good amount of notes on them. But they are under a ton of pressure to perform in these playoffs because they've had a good year, no doubt. They've had a good year.
Unfortunately,
but they've been Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to road and home.
Yeah.
So, and being the 2 seed, they're going to have a couple home games, at least.
Yeah.
So they are under a ton of pressure.
So here's my question to you, because we know the stigma for Dallas in the playoffs. Robert hits on it. Oh man, you all right? You need the Heimlich over there? We know what that stigma is with the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. Either in years past, either they haven't looked that great, missed the playoffs, or they've looked really good, made the playoffs, shit it up as soon as they get in there. My thing is this. If this year truly is different, they have the most pressure on them right now. I agree with you. That I do agree with you. they win that first week in the playoffs, though, and I feel like every ounce of momentum in the NFC all goes to Dallas. Because now they know how good of a season they've had. They know the weapons they have. They know they're playing as a great unit. And on top of that, they've now jumped that hurdle that they've tripped over so many times.
Winning in the first round. Yeah.
I think that if they win that first round matchup against Green Bay, I think that it's a long road. It's a long road for everyone else. For them, it's a straight and narrow. They know exactly what they're doing. They exactly where they're going. I think that's the big one, which they are playing Green Bay, aren't they?
Yes.
Fairly positive.
Yeah.
And Green Bay, let's not joke around. Like, Green Bay has pulled some stuff out this year.
Hold on. Let's not get into it too much. But I got my other high pressure team in the other conference.
I'm ready for the AFC. Let's see what you got.
It's got to be the Ravens. They are under the most pressure.
You think?
It's got to be. Because I'm looking at the field. Bills, Steelers, Chiefs, Dolphins, Texans, Browns. Okay, whatever. The Ravens, they have been consistently one of the best teams in the NFL regular season. When it comes to the playoffs, they have not been that great. Lamar's 1-3 in playoff games. Not that great. Can he break out? Can he shed the stigma of, oh, you're a good regular season quarterback, but when the chips are down, you're not that good. His QBR, his quarterback rating, is 45.9. It's dog crap. When he gets into the playoffs, he just doesn't play well. I think Lamar's got a different mentality this year, but if you remember 2019, we were a good team. Lamar won MVP. We rolled into the playoffs. Titans came to Baltimore and kicked our ass. It's exactly what happened. So can they shed that? Can he lift the juju? Can he lift the voodoo off of himself and get this team to victory?
So you say he's 1-3 in the playoffs?
He's 1-3 in the playoffs.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't really like that stat. That, to me, that's a skewed stat because, like, you can make a statistic for anything. I mean, you can make a statistic to mean anything you want. 73% of all people know that. I mean, but no, I honestly, personally, I was unaware he was 1-3. I still think that the way that the Ravens have played this year, I think that stat truly is irrelevant because I feel like they're a different team than they've been.
Right. And I firmly believe the only team, when I look at all those teams and I list them, the only team that can beat the Ravens are the Ravens. If they go out there and play a good game, they're going to win.
Yeah.
Because they got Lamar on offense on MVP, and their defense just won first time in NFL history, winning the Triple Crown, leading in points per game, sacks, turnovers. Killing it. So the defense is top-notch. The offense is top-notch. Lamar is taking the Mark Andrew-less Ravens and leading them to the number 1 seed. Now, but...
All right. Sorry about that.
No problem.
A little technical difficulty. We
got it.
Crisis averted. We avoided disaster. We're back. Had to have a little gap in there to fix a couple of things. That one's on me. I apologize. Let's get right back into it, man. So I had us marked down right before we had our technical difficulties. Mark Andrew-less Ravens.
Right, yeah, the Mark Andrew-less Ravens. Lamar is doing his thing. Like we were talking about, can he break out of this? And he's leading this team without Mark Andrews, without Keaton Mitchell, without J.K. Dobbins. He is doing a thing on offense with some guys. Like, he's got OBJ. Mm-hmm. He's got other guys, other vets. But he's doing it. Isaiah Likely's breaking out.
Isaiah, most definitely.
We are going to have to prove it. And I know Lamar cannot wait to get that stigma off of him, get that stink of playoff loss off of him.
Most definitely.
So that they've got a lot of pressure on them. That's my AFC team.
So here's my thing, and I'm going to disagree with you on that. Because I've got two other AFC teams that I feel like the pressure is definitely on them harder than the Ravens. So the Ravens, the thing that they have going for them, and some would look at it as a pro, some would look at it as a con, you guys have set the tone. You have set the tone already for the AFC. You have set the bar. Everyone knows at what level they will have to compete at to even have a shot at it. I think that's good because you want your team to set that bar. You want your team to set the bar for other teams to be like, damn, if we can't compete with that, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. I think, personally, one of those teams is the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills have a ton of pressure on them. They've had this generational fault on their team where, boy, I love losing Super Bowls. They go through these they go through a phase of utter strength, and then they, with no offense really to the Cowboys, but they kind of go through this Cowboy streak where they had all these Super Bowl runs, and then they didn't have shit for a long time. And they've been relevant these last few years. They've had a strong team. Honestly, Rachel and I have joked for the last couple of years, like, is this the year we see the Eagles play the Bills in the Super Bowl? This could happen. I think the Bills looked great coming out of the season, and everyone has eyes on the Bills. I feel like they're that team that everyone, first week of the season, doesn't matter what's going on, they want to see what the Bills are doing. I think the Bills have a ton of pressure on them. One, to succeed where they haven't succeeded prior. Two, because they know that they have a great team, but that team will not last forever. You can't expect to make a Super Bowl run for the next 20 years with the team that you have. And Kansas City is a perfect example. You take one or two pieces out of the equation, and it changes the dynamic of the team completely.
Right.
I think that adds a lot of pressure to them because they know the clock's ticking. On top of that, you have the Mafia. Now, I'm going to tell you, the Mafia, I'm going to tell you right now.
Wild, bro.
Being married to a mafioso, Bill's mafioso over here that I am, the Mafia is one of the coolest fan bases out there. They're an awesome fan base. Philly fans, we get a bad rap because we are fucking nasty fans, man. Like, that's our reputation. But I will say this. I've noticed a little Philly and some Mafia fans this year when Buffalo has struggled.
Unsettled.
Yeah. I have noticed some Bills Mafia fans, and again, this is no disrespect to them. I love the Mafia. That I'd have to say, if my Eagles aren't in it, I'm rooting for Buffalo as far as they can go. I love the Bills. My first football game was this year. My first pro football game I went to this year was the Bills game against the Commanders, and I loved it. It was a great time. They're such good fans. There's always such a good atmosphere. But I've noticed this hint of – it's probably a hint of frustration because they know – a lot of fans know the same thing I'm saying here is pretty common knowledge. The clock's ticking. You don't know how long Josh Allen's in his prime. You don't know how long you have Steph Diggs playing on a high level. You don't know if Gabe Davis wants to go somewhere else. You don't know if James Cook is going to repeat another season like this year. You don't know what your coordinators are going to do. You don't know. It's an unknown territory. And the one thing that is known is if you want to know what you have, then it has to be done this year.
Right.
And I think that adds a ton of pressure to the Buffalo Bills strictly because they know they need to do it. They need to do it this time. This is the one they need to gather their whatever they need to gather together, get it together for the playoffs, and make a strong run. And they need to enter the playoffs as a different Bills team than they've been. Now, I will say they've looked pretty good recently. They've made a few changes. They've looked really good.
They're starting to run the ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've said for years, one thing Buffalo lacked was an explosive running back.
Yeah.
James Cook, I've said for the last 2 years, James Cook is going to be that guy. Eventually, you got to give him a chance to develop. He is an explosive back. And this year, he has shown, does he have some fumble issues every now and again? Absolutely. Every running back has some kind of drawback unless you're Christian McCaffrey. And even then, he's got his injury issues here and there. Dude, James Cook, I would lose no sleep over James Cook being on my team. He's a stud running back. He's fast. He has the moves. He can do everything that you need him to. Great ball carrier vision. He's elusive. He has everything you need. But even that goes to show you, when guys have great seasons like this year, that contract needs to reflect it. If you ain't got enough money for that contract, he might walk. That changes the equation. You have to do it this year if you're the Buffalo Bills. This is the year that it matters the most. In my book, for them, it matters the most. And that, I think...
I'd love to see him put it all together and end up in a 1-2 matchup, Buffalo-Baltimore for the AFC crown.
It'd be a great game.
I think that would be a good matchup stylistically. Yes. I would love to see it.
Now, on top of that, if I had to say there was one team to me that has almost as much pressure on them as Buffalo does, Buffalo to me has the most pressure in the AFC going in, would be the Cleveland Browns. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Cleveland has nothing to lose. They can go out and play loose because they've been through quarterbacks and players and all these issues they've been through. But the one thing people have to keep in mind The one thing Cleveland has shown this year is resiliency. They have adapted every step they've needed to, and they have somehow made a way where seeing some of these professional analysts and sportscasters talking, they even sound like, hey, these teams need to be concerned about the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
The Cleveland Browns are one of those teams, you sleep on them for a second, and Joe Flacco throws 350 yards and 3 touchdowns on them. I'm not a Flacco fan.
We'll touch on them when we talk about their game later versus the Texans. I have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that. But if I want to talk about teams with the least amount of pressure, they are just wheeling and dealing. I got one for each conference.
Let's see it.
It is those Houston Texans. They're the AFC South. Nobody really thought anything of them. They got C.J. Stroud, who's most likely going to be your NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Maybe possibly Will Anderson, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
That'd be crazy.
And then DeMeco Ryans, Coach of the Year. So you've got those 3 elements, and nobody's people thought they were going to be dog crap.
Oh, they were written off. They're written off week 1.
To start the year. And yeah, they came to Baltimore week 1 and got killed. C.J. Stroud looked like a rookie.
Yep.
But you've seen him mature over the year.
Yeah.
And come into his own and start to lead this team. And I watched their whole game against the Colts this past weekend. Poised. Poise is the one thing I took away from that. Touchdown on the first play. Being a team leader. Like, they've got nothing to lose. They are almost, and I think I have it written down, they're playing with house money.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, they have no pressure on them, but they've got a lot of talent, a lot of young talent.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got some talent, and I think their first round matchup with the Browns is actually going to be a very good game. I'm looking forward to watching it. And then when I go to the NFC with the least amount of pressure, I'm thinking the Packers. They win the AFC North. They come in. Love is coming into his own, just like Stroud. Yeah, people were starting to write him off too, saying he was a bit of a bust. He wasn't putting it all together. But now he's coming into his own, just like Stroud.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the direction that they're going with those rookies.
Yeah.
The rookie tight end, the rookie wide receivers. They've got Aaron Jones in the backfield. Their defense is, like I said, I'll touch on, is a little bit suspect.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got nothing to lose. They're playing to lose. So those are the teams with not a lot of pressure that are heading into the playoffs.
So I feel like the Texans and the Green Bay Packers are kind of opposite ends of the spectrum in my book. So to me, they both have good team, like they both have a team built for years to come if they maintain and they do the right things. They've got young players who can really develop into great players. I think the Packers, to me, I don't think they're quite as strong as the Texans, and I think that Dallas, as unfortunate as it is, I think Dallas kind of goes in and exploits that the first week of the playoffs.
That could very possibly happen.
I think that's probably what will happen. I could be wrong, and don't get me wrong, I'm rooting for Green Bay the whole way. I'm rooting for Green Bay the whole way. The Texans, on the other hand, C.J. Stroud to me has gone through like a half a career's worth of development in one season. He has come from, like you said, that it was like his rookie season was week 1. And most rookies would let that kind of stuff get to them and try to spend half a season or 3/4 of a season trying to figure out how to fix the problem if it is fixable. Dude, he didn't worry about it. He was like, I'm gonna play my game. He made a couple adjustments, and you look at him now, I'm like, he could be the truth. I don't know for sure. It's that first season's tough to tell. A lot of teams, it's hard to plan for a guy because you don't have a lot of film on him at the beginning of the season, so you don't know what you really need to bring against a guy. But even at the end of the season, even after teams had the film on him, they knew how to plan against him. He was still exploiting defenses. He was still making plays happen when he needed to make them happen. think the Texans are a lot stronger going into this playoff than people are giving them credit for. And I think they could be that dark horse team to really go distance.
And I can't wait to talk about them a little bit when we get to the playoff.
I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with the Texans. The Packers, I agree that they don't have the pressure. I agree wholeheartedly with that. They can go in and kind of play loose, and that if you have to find an advantage to take against Dallas, that's the one you need to ride the whole way. Guys, we got nothing to lose. No one expected us to be here. Let's do this. Let's show everyone who we are, not just now, but in the future as well. Show them who we can be. Let's do this.
I'm looking forward to watching that game, dude.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to the whole wild card weekend.
Yes. It's going to be a fun one.
Sunday through Monday, it's just football.
Yeah.
And it's high stakes. I cannot wait to watch it.
Yes, most definitely. That being said, give me your non-biased picks. Go all the way. I want to know what your non-biased, now if it's Ravens, it's Ravens. That's fine. But non-biased Super Bowl matchup.
Super Bowl matchup. That's tough. I think the Ravens will have some challenges. Like I said, I feel like the only team that can beat the Ravens is the Ravens. Now, if they can play their game, they will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So that would be my pick.
Okay.
I would say Ravens. Number 1 seed, it's all right there in front of them.
Yep.
Bro, the NFC is a little more wide open.
Isn't it?
And I don't want to go chalk. I don't want to go Ravens 49ers. But that's the only thing I'm compelled towards. And San Francisco is a very good team. They are a very complete team, top to bottom, offense and defense. It is hard not to say Ravens, 49ers, but I've got a different pick.
Okay.
I've got the Cowboys in the Super Bowl.
Oh, God.
I've got the Cowboys in the Super Bowl versus the Ravens. I think they're under the pressure. I think they can make it happen.
My stomach hurts from that.
I think they've got. I know.
Maybe it's just an ill feeling from hearing that.
I think they've got a good defense, and I think if they make it to San Francisco, they beat whoever they got to beat, make it a 1-2 matchup in San Fran. I think they can do it. They can take the playbook from the Ravens and do it. So I'm calling Ravens Cowboys Super Bowl, which I would love to see.
Fair enough. And that could be a good matchup. Now, I will say, on the flip side, I'm gonna throw a little bit of that ill feeling back at you.
Gross.
I think the Niners do make it. I think they've got the weapons. I mean, they're complete. They really are. I've hit on them before. They are a complete team. Not that they're the only one, but they are a complete team. But I will say, out of all these conversations we're having about this whole playoff picture and everything, you do realize there's one team we have not talked about. We have not even mentioned their name in this entire podcast. And I think that is going to be a big development going into the playoffs. I'm going to have some fluid picks until we get to the Super Bowl. But as of right now, I kind of talked a little bit, I think, last episode on some playoff picks and all that. I'm changing up a little bit about how I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking the Niners are playing in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like somehow all of us have written them off, even though they're in the playoffs, and we all know that the Chiefs are that team that can literally flip a light switch and become a completely different team, no matter how they played all season. And they haven't played terrible. I know we've hit on a lot of things. Mahomes has had some issues. I think he's new to this feeling of not being the dominant team all the time. He's had some issues. Kelsey's had some spotlight. They've had some wide receiver woes. They've had a lot of things, but yet they're still here. They have the playoff experience. They have a Super Bowl win last year. They have a quarterback who is elite. I mean, he is an elite quarterback. They have the weapons, and yet nobody's talking about them. And I think that's a mistake for AFC teams. You have to pay attention to them. And the problem is, if you wait till the AFC Championship to start paying attention to them, it's too late. It's too late at that point. You need spotlights on them now to really start banking on, can they do it? And I could be wrong. We're all just guessing at this point. I could be wrong, and Kansas City could go out like that. But I don't think they do.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I will never discount or think that a Patrick Mahomes-led team can't win a game.
Yeah.
They will never be a 10-point underdog.
Yeah.
Or an 8-point underdog as long as he's playing quarterback.
Absolutely.
So he will keep you in the game.
And they ride momentum. You give them one win, it makes it easier for that second win. You give them another win, they ride momentum, especially in the playoffs.
Let's see.
I think that's, and all of this is really funny because we make these great picks, I feel like, and they're logical picks, and they have knowledge behind them, and we put stats with them, and we put momentum with them, and then after it's all said and done, the Cleveland Browns play the Detroit Lions.
Barf back. No, I do not want to see that. No, that's disgusting.
Oh man.
No, are you ready to break down a couple of these games?
Let's break them down.
All right.
Break them down.
All right. So I've got the brackets written down in front of me and a couple notes about each game.
Yep.
We'll just go through them really quick. Like I said,
fire them off.
The Ravens are number 1. They get a bye.
Yep.
Looking forward to seeing them play. One note I have about them: they were 7-1 against winning teams this year. All right,
that's a good stat to have.
That's a good stat to have going into the playoffs. And like we talked about earlier, can Lamar break through and lead his team to a Super Bowl appearance? What happens there is after that, but
yeah,
he's got the mentality. Next, there's the 2-7 matchup. We got Bills versus Steelers. Mm-hmm. The notes I have written down. Can the Bills be consistent? Can they be consistent? And what I mean by that is Josh Allen. Can he be consistent with his turnovers? He has got a lot of turnovers. A lot of touchdowns, but a lot of turnovers. Can he be good Josh Allen and not shitty Josh Allen? That's what we need to see. Now, the Steelers defense against, what Josh Allen's got to play against, they've got some injuries. TJ Watt, he's going to be out.
Yep.
They already said today he's going to be out.
Yep.
They've got a couple other guys banged up, and the Steelers are coming to Orchard Park. Can Josh Allen put a good game together against a depleted Steelers team and win? And they have a bad habit of taking teams that they should blow out and keeping them close. Can he go out there and step on their throat and be that dynamic guy that you were talking about that needs to break through and has a lot of pressure on him? Can he be that guy, step on their neck, and squash this 7th seed and move on to the next round? That's what I'm looking forward to. They are a double-digit, I think a 10-point favorite.
Okay.
When I looked at the lines. So they are a heavy favorite.
And I have to say, I agree with you. I agree with everything you said except for one thing. I think, to me, it's up to the defense of the Buffalo Bills. They have to be prepared. Whether they get that Josh Allen that throws 350 and 3 touchdowns and no turnovers, or whether they get turnover-happy Josh, the Bills' defense has to be prepared to go out there and make up for whatever issues Josh Allen has. That's their job. If you have that Josh Allen that comes out and throws a couple picks and maybe has a fumble running the ball, your defense needs to be prepared to come out and do the exact same thing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they do that, if their defense matches like that, I think that this is a walkthrough game for Buffalo. I think that the Steelers are weaker than people are giving them credit for, to be honest. I really do.
They did play a very close game with the Ravens backups last week and won by a touchdown.
Right. And that's what I was kind of going to hit on is
in a monsoon.
Yeah.
They played a close game, 17-10, with the Ravens backups.
And the Ravens damn near took that game at the end of that thing. I feel like the Ravens tie it up at the end, and it does go to overtime. Then it's probably a done deal. But that's neither here nor there. I think that the Bills take the Steelers. I think that it's just as much on the Bills' defense as it is on Josh Allen, especially if you want to really demoralize that other team and really make it your game by halftime. The Bills' defense has to make that happen.
Right. So next matchup, AFC, we've got Chiefs-Dolphins. Dolphins on the road in Arrowhead. Here's what I have down. Weather. It is going to be colder than a witch's titty in a brass bra there at Kansas City. The Dolphins, they got a quarterback who's from Hawaii. They play in Miami. There's some adversity. If they had beaten the Bills, they'd be playing at home. It's playing in 70 degrees, 75 degree weather. Now they've got to go play in Kansas City where it's going to be 2 degrees. It's going to be cold as hell. So the Chiefs also, they've got their offensive question marks. Kadarius Toney, young wide receivers. It hasn't been crispy like we talked about.
Yes.
But the Chiefs do have the second-ranked scoring defense in the league. So they've kind of inversed, right? You used to think of the Chiefs, you think all offense, no defense. All offense, no defense. Well, the defense has been holding it together for the team this year.
They've definitely stepped up. Maybe not on an elite level, but they've stepped up to where they needed to at least be to get by. And that, I think, is what you need. As a team like that, you need that going in the playoffs. Can they take that offense and, put them in a basket, dip them in the deep fryer, crisp them up a little bit, and then pull them out before the playoffs? We'll see.
Yeah. You just hope that defense doesn't have a bad game. Because you know how explosive Miami can be.
If Tyree gets over the top every time,
if when they are fully healthy, and that's something that's a question mark coming into this game, they do have a couple injuries. Waddle's injured, Mostert's injured, Tyreek was a little gimpy coming out of the game. If they are at full strength and everybody's playing, that is a tough matchup for anybody in the league. Anybody in the league. So it's going to be a good matchup to watch. The only thing that it gives me a little trepidation if you're a Miami fan. Miami has not been good against winning teams this year. They are 1-4 against winning teams this year.
You got a stat over there for Miami in minus 40 degrees or in 40
for forever
or minus.
For forever. I'm just saying. Like when we talked about the Ravens, they're 7-1 against winning teams. You want to have a good record against teams that win a lot, and Miami just has not done it this year. So you want to see them put it together, go out there, and have all their guys. And I think it will be a good on good. When I say the Miami offense with the Kansas City defense, a good on good, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for this game. Any thoughts?
No, I pretty much I'm on board with you on that. Miami, at the beginning of the season, I'd say hell even midway through the season, I would sit here and say Miami was probably my pick at one point or another to be the one to go all the way to the end of the AFC. They were looking good. They've had some injuries that have held them back a little bit here and there. Their play has, I hate to use the word decline because it hasn't, but it's changed a bit here at the end of the season. They're not as crispy as they were early in the season, and I think that kind of makes this an interesting matchup with Kansas City. Like, is this the deep fryer game? Who hit the hot oil before this game and got good and crispy before it? Because that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, the team who is really sharp on both sides of the ball.
Right.
I think that it's a game that both teams are going to come in. They're going to both be good teams. There's no denying that both teams have great talent. I think it's going to be a situation of what team comes in, wants it the most, what team comes in, plays the cleanest game, what team comes in and just shows that they deserve to be there more than the other. I think that's what it comes down to.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
All right, the last matchup. 4-seed Texans versus the Browns. We talked about a little bit earlier. Now, they did play earlier this year. Earlier this year, they did play. It was a 36-22 win by the Browns. No C.J. Stroud in that game. They were playing with Case Keenum. Case Keenum is there.
Browns also not playing Flacco that game either, I believe. That was before Flacco came in, wasn't it?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I feel like Flacco brings a veteran mindset to the team.
They still hung 36 on him. So, we'll see. But like I said earlier, the Texans are playing with house money. and they're at home. Nothing to lose. We got Playoff Joe. Playoff Joe is a guy. As a Ravens fan, I've seen it. Years ago, he bet on himself, and he threw 9 touchdowns, no picks, something like that, and won the Super Bowl, won the whole damn thing. And got a huge contract from the Ravens and didn't do shit after it.
Ruined the Ravens for years to come.
But I think that's going to be a great matchup. I can't wait to see C.J. Stroud, now that he's healthy, with a little bit of time to prepare, against that defense. Now, we know that they have a good defense. But something about this offense gives me a little worry about the Cleveland offense.
Oh, yeah?
They lead the league in turnovers. 37 turnovers this year. Joe Flacco, he's been spinning it. He's been throwing touchdowns, but he's been throwing picks,
Absolutely.
too.
He has.
Because he's like, whatever, I was on the couch 6 weeks ago. I'm just going to come out here and spin it. Mm-hmm. So if the Texans defense can be opportunistic, get a couple turnovers, and make Playoff Joe look like a playoff Joe, they might be a little alive in this game.
Do you feel like Joe Flacco's playing with house money?
I mean a little bit. It's not like they're going to bring him back next year. Let's say, unless he wins the whole damn thing, and then you're having questions internally, like, is Deshaun Watson the guy?
Personally,
but Joe Flacco is almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
He is a rental, a backup. The sky will fall for him at some point eventually in these playoffs. That is my feeling.
Well, if he goes all the way, we're going to try to get him on SportsBites online with you. Just how you doing, Joe? You're on the air with Brent over here. You got anything to say?
Yeah, you give me one of these. Yeah, but so I'm definitely, like I said, this AFC side is really intriguing. I'm looking forward to watching all these games. And
sorry, all I can think of is like that scene from Fun with Dick and Jane. Like, I end up getting Joe on here like, hey, we have Ralph Nader. He's like, oh, hi, Joe. Big fan. Love your stuff.
All right, bro.
All right, that's it, man. So, that's some AFC matchups.
Do you want to start on the NFC?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's roll through these NFC ones.
Like we 49ers get the bye, number 1 overall seed.
Yep.
My thoughts on them, like I said, they're the most balanced roster.
Yes.
I think over the Ravens, they're top to bottom. They've got the most balanced roster in the NFL.
They're exploitable, but very, very little. Very tiny little things can you exploit.
Against teams that they should beat, they beat the shit out of them.
Yes.
They got a very high margin of victory. And my only concern about them is when they face a little adversity and they get down, can they come back? Let's say the defense doesn't, they're not firing and they go down 14-0. So Niners, if they get down 14-0, can they come back? Can they lean on Brock Purdy? He hasn't had to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
He's a lot like J.J. McCarthy from Michigan. Great defense, great weapons. Can he just distribute, not turn the ball over, and be efficient? Can he do those things? Now, if they ask him to come back down from 14-0, 17-0, can he do that? He has not been tested in that regard in the crucible that is playoffs. So we'll see.
So that's the big one is the playoffs. His last visit to the playoffs did not go very well. Very inexperienced, huge injury, bad time all over for him. Much different this year. He's gotten a great mindset of not just the strengths that they have, but the weaknesses they have. He's had a couple games where he's shown some rookie weakness. I think that he's learned from a lot of it, but time will tell. In the playoffs, it's a different atmosphere. During the season, if you lose a game, it's okay. We'll come back next week and we'll make it happen. In the playoffs, you lose that game, that's it. It's done.
No next week.
No, that you're sitting on a couch for the rest of whatever is left in the season.
Like I said, that's a very minor critique. That's my only thought. But going to our 2-7 matchup, we got Cowboys-Packers. Yeah. Are the boys back? Are the boys back, Randy? Are they? We'll see. We're going to find out. Prescott and Lamb, they've been very good. They've been very, very good. And they've been kicking the shit out of people at home. A couple things about the Cowboys that give me a little bit of concern. They're only 16th in run defense. So that's middle of the pack. I look at the Lions. I look at the Rams. I look at the Niners. Teams that like to run the ball. Can they stop them? And can they win on the road? We talked about that a little bit.
That's the big one.
Can they win on the road? Yeah, they're sitting there at the 2 seeds. The only road game they were going to have would be at San Francisco.
But that might be the biggest road game of the whole playoffs.
Yeah, right. A 1-2 matchup. And with my Super Bowl prediction, I think they got the pieces to get it done. I think Dak's playing well. For the most part, he's in the MVP consideration. But, and with the Packers, they're a live dog. I think they are. I think Love and these rookies have come together. But can their defense hold it? They gave up 30 points to the Panthers a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sus. And the Panthers just got shut out by the Buccaneers 9-0. So can their defense hold up against Dak and CeeDee Lamb, who they are just on up a level together, the two of them. So I like the Cowboys in this game, obviously, but if they come in there and they're look past these guys, they could be in for a game.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to watching that matchup. Thoughts? Go Pack, go! Go Pack, go!
To think of
My
a
thought is
positive on each team as we go through. What could there is no love lost from a Philly fan to Dallas. There just isn't. Are they good? Yeah, I respect the fact that they are a good team this year. They've been good years past. I hope they go out tank against the Green Bay Packers. I hope Jordan Love throws 400 yards against them with four touchdowns, no interceptions. I hope Dak comes out and throws 2 picks in the first quarter and completely gets in his head for the rest of the game. I want to see it. As the Eagles fan, I'm calling it out. I want to see him and CeeDee Lamb yelling at each other on the sidelines. I want to see helmets thrown. I want to see it all. I want to see Tony Pollard sit behind everybody shit, what's going on right now? I want to see it all. I want to see the absolute crumble of Dallas in the playoffs. But we're not going to. We're not going to. Dallas is going to. They are going to dominate Green Bay. Green Bay is a young team. They have a lack of experience. They have a big lack of playoff experience right now. Dallas, while Dallas hasn't had a great run in the playoffs, Dallas has also they've been building all season up to this point. Dallas has the strength. They have the momentum. Dallas is going to go in there. They're going to beat Green Bay by 20 points, I think.
Big call. All right. We got it. All right, next matchup. 3-seed Lions versus the Rams. Storylines out the ass in this game.
Yeah.
We got Stafford coming back to Detroit, where he is anointed on high. He's versus Goff, who they swapped and they traded him back to the Rams, or from the Rams to Detroit. So it's going to be a great matchup. I'm thinking points. I think it's got the highest point total out of all.
Wow, really?
I think it's up over 50.
Really?
So they're thinking these teams are going to score.
Big 12 football out here. Huh? No defense, all offense, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, but since week 8, the Rams have had the number 2 offense in the league. When Stafford has time to throw, he looks like a Hall of Famer. Now, and the Lions' defense has not been as advertised. They've been very leaky this last part of the season. So, furthermore,
little soggy on defense
against Cleveland, San Francisco, and Baltimore, who we all think have very good defenses, Rams have averaged 29 points against each one of them. So I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game, and I think the Lions better look out because I think the Rams are live. And they have Sean McVay, who is a good coach, and they've got Aaron Donald on defense. I called him as one of my sleepers last time I was here. Now they're here. I think they can get it done. Now on the Lions side, they're playing their first playoff game at home since 1993. what were you doing in 1993? Elementary school?
Yeah.
Right. So I think they've got a dangerous offense. You can't count Goff and these rookies, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, who might be hurt. Rumor is they might be bringing in Zach Ertz to play tight end because Laporta got hurt in this Week 18 game.
And again, that's another player with solid playoff experience all the way to the Super Bowl.
And that's just a rumor that he's not signed. But yeah, like I said, their defense is a little suspect, but the Rams is too. So
yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game.
Fair enough.
And I think the Rams are a really live dog in this game. I don't know what they're an underdog by, but I cannot in the dome in Detroit on that turf. You got Puka, you got Cooper, you got Stafford.
High flying.
It's going to be a lot of points. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep it going, man.
Our last one. You know what it is, Randall?
I know what it is.
Bucks, Eagles, Monday night.
Fucking inconsistent Baker Mayfield, who can come out and look like a rookie Baker Mayfield who doesn't know anything about the game of football, or this dude can come out and once again, I keep saying the magic number, he's throwing 300, 350 yards against your defense, somehow carves you up like a Thanksgiving turkey. I'm like, that inconsistency scares me.
Yeah, that's why I have in my notes here. Which Baker shows up?
Yeah.
Because he had a bad game against a bad Carolina team this past week.
Yeah.
So which Baker is going to show up? Which one's going to be at home?
Does that get in his head, or does he use that going forward?
I don't know, but they played, Philly and Tampa Bay played earlier this year, and Philly kicked the shit. It was like 25-10, 25-8. It was a blowout. And it was like a late touchdown. That got them that 10 points for Tampa Bay. So I know Philly's banged up. Jalen Hurts' finger was looking all mangled.
Golly, dude.
AJ Brown was looking beat up. Devonta's banged up. You're beat up heading into this game. But here's the thing. Here's the key that if I'm Philly, it is a mental reset. Can they reset? Like, you know what? The season was what it was.
Yep.
Are we that 10-1 team who started the year? Okay. Or are we the 1-4 team that finished the season? Which one are we?
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to see which one of these versions of these teams shows up. Because if bad Philly and bad Tampa Bay shows up, bet the under. Put your mortgage on the under. It's 45 points. Under 45 points.
Yeah.
For these two teams.
Yeah.
Because if bad Baker and bad Philly shows up, who knows what the hell could happen? Philly could walk in there with one. It's just, you don't know.
10-3.
Yeah. So
I agree with you there.
All right, Philly fan, tell me what you think.
I love my team, but I have to be realistic about it. I feel like unrealistic hope's the worst thing to have going in the playoffs. Can we right the ship going in the playoffs? Absolutely. Again, you got to find the light switch and flip it. But I know also that we have more than just one or two things wrong with us right now. And this is the worst time of the season to find all these things wrong with you, because now you have no time to fix them.
You're literally backing into the playoffs.
Yes, you got no time to fix them.
You're
you got no
stumbling
time
over
to
your
sharpen them
feet.
up. You're going into it and you're saying, hey, guys, I hate to tell you this, we're going to do this on the fly. We're going to do this on the fly. Every step we take that, we may have an issue here or may have an issue, we got to fix it right then. There ain't no wait until next week. We got to fix it right then, move on, and play the best ball on the next snap and the next snap. It's the only way we have a shot at this thing. Tampa Bay, honestly, Tampa Bay has a lot of weapons that people don't talk about. That worries me. Because if you do get that fire Baker.
If you get good Baker, you got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, you've got a good running game.
Yes.
You've got a fairly competent defense. It could be a long night for Philly.
Absolutely.
But on the other token, like if bad Tampa shows up, Philly, like, it's a wild card game for a reason. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know who the hell is going to show up. So
absolutely.
But like coming into that, overall, the playoffs are going to be great. I've got a couple overall winners and losers for the season. Overall,
What do you got?
I would say in the AFC, my winners, Ravens, Texans.
Yep.
I say Ravens because of all these Lamar's MVP caliber. Defense is playing out of their mind. Eric DeCosta, general manager of the Ravens, is looking like a genius, picking up Keaton Mitchell, even though he's hurt.
Yep.
Undrafted rookie. Like the Roquan Smith edition is looking great. There's all these things at Texans, like I mentioned earlier, with the offensive, defensive rookie of the year, possibly coach of the year. My loser in the AFC, big, fat, stinking loser, Jets.
Yep.
And we don't talk about them here for very good reason, because they're dog crap.
Yep. Absolutely.
You put all your eggs in a basket for a 40-year-old quarterback, and you revolve everything around him, and he gets hurt on the fourth play of the season. It's a recipe for disaster.
But I mean,
and their defense, it just everything revolved around him playing well,
yep,
getting that offense going, and their defense was good, but they could not compensate for all the offense. The offense is going 3 and out, putting them in bad positions consistently. Could not do it. Jets, my loser this year. Done.
You got Aaron Rodgers getting back on the ayahuasca during the season. He's like, I'm going to be back from a massively torn Achilles, like could be a career ender. I'm coming back in December.
And they cut some guys so he could be on the team.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Why? Why put him on the active roster? He's not going to play a snap.
No. Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
In the NFC, I've got two. I've got a winner and loser. The winner, Lions. They draft Jahmyr Gibbs. They draft Sam Laporta.
Came out way ahead of what people thought.
Boy, the early returns on those guys are great.
Yep.
I think they got a coach in Dan Campbell. He's setting the culture there, which I like.
And they're buying into it. That's the big thing.
Like, win or lose, we're going for 2. We're going for it on the 4th. We're going to punch you in the mouth.
Yes.
We might not get it all the time, but we're gonna go for it.
Which kind of, honestly, that does remind me, not to sound biased or anything, but it does remind me of the Eagles' Super Bowl run. The Eagles players bought into what they had going on, and that's what it was. It was, we're just going to come at you. We're going to come at you every step of the way, and Detroit is doing it. And they're making it work, and that's big. Especially, like you said, with these young guys. You got these young guys. Goff isn't. He's not a rookie or anything, but he's not a 38-year-old vet either. He's a journeyman well into his way in his career. He can show that, he can lead these guys when he needs to. But you also have a great team around him, especially on offense, man. I'm going to tell you right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown, my man.
Baller.
Dude, crazy good. Crazy good.
Right.
So I agree with you. I think that they came out way more ahead of what anybody had expectations for them this season.
My big, fat, stinking loser in the NFC, the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Oh, they suck.
Yeah.
Their owner sucks. He's throwing drinks on people like an asshole. And they clearly made the wrong pick when they picked Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. We talked about C.J. Stroud being that face of the franchise for the Texans.
Yes.
Do you think a lot of Panthers fans wish they had drafted him instead of Bryce Young?
I think that hangs over the head of Carolina for years.
And what's his face? David Tepper, owner of the Panthers. He's the new Dan Snyder.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just sucks. And they cleaned house. They fired the coach. They fired the GM. And who wants? Like, if I'm a potential head coaching candidate, why the hell would I want to go work for this guy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know that when you go in, no matter how good ideas you have, you're never going to have the control that you need to be able to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
You're going to always have, I hate to talk more shit about him, but you're always going to have that Jerry Jones over your shoulder. You're going to have an owner who he wants his way. And he's going to make sure his way happens. Now, if your way lines up with his way, okay, cool, then you can get your way. But if your way doesn't line up with what he wants is going to come first. And that's a reason that coaches coach, players play, owners sign checks.
That's right. And I'm hoping they can bring a guy in who can develop Bryce Young, because I don't think he's devoid of talent. He was a number one overall pick for a reason. And the defense is okay. Like, they need some more guys. They have a lot of holes in that roster, but I think they can get it together. But for right now, they are in their outlook is bad.
And I think they knew that. Like, with all the players, they shopped some big guys in the last couple of years. They've lost a couple of guys. I think that they knew that this was coming, and that's the one advantage I will say for them is this can't be a surprise to them. They can't look at where they are right now and be like, how in the hell did we get here? You had to know that's part of a rebuild. You cut, you make your money back, you get as much saved up, you make some good picks, you work for the next couple of years at getting back into contention. That's where they are. So at least I feel like they knew that they weren't going to come into the season and be like, shit, we're playoff bound, baby. We're going all the way. At least they knew what direction they were going to already be going in.
Yeah, so
that's the, if you had to find a silver lining and all that, that's the one I can say is at least they knew that this wasn't a surprise to them.
the silver lining on a big hot pile of shit.
Huge. On the same note, I will say this for that fan in the stands. I'm like, you let any NFL owner, I don't care what owner it is, of any of the 32 teams, throw a drink on me. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to sue your ass for that.
Emotional damage. I'm going to sue you.
It's going down. I'm getting season tickets, which I guess for Carolina, would they say 47 cents a game there at the end for home games? So I'm like, season tickets, you drop a 10 spot on it, and you're there all season.
That's about $3.50.
I'm going to need about $3.50.
I'm going to need about $3.50.
Yes. Well, I agree with you. Carolina, they've got some work to do. It's a rebuild. That's what happens, these rebuilds. It's all a matter of how much time they want to sink into it, how much money they want to sink into it, how much talent they want to get out of it. And that's what it is. At this point, the good thing for them at this point is they have plenty of time to plan. You start looking at your picks. You start trying to make the best of everything that you possibly can. The Combine is going to be huge for Carolina because they're going to want to see these guys'
And
numbers.
what sucks is their first pick is going to the Bears.
Yeah.
That sucks too.
Yeah.
That compounds the whole issue.
And that's
because they would have the first pick, but they traded it away to the fucking Bears to trade up to get Bryce Young.
Yep.
So, the Bears are sitting there with the number 1, number 9 picks. They're in a conundrum too.
Which I'm also, on a side note, I will say I'm a huge stickler for, and me and Chris from the league, we were talking about it at work today. I'm a huge stickler for the fact that those top 10 players, and a lot of times those first-round players overall, the percentage of those players that pan out versus the percentages that flop.
It's got to be like 50-50.
I think it's more to the flop side. You get some players that come in and they do great things in their career. Part of it is those first-rounders are expected. You're expecting that first round to show out. They're still young guys coming straight out of college. You put high expectations on them. But I would say that the flops are, if I had to put a number on it, I would say over the years, I'd like to look back, maybe I will, I would say 60 to 70 over 30 flops versus shines. You just see so many players in the first round, and I don't mean players that, play 2 years and never play again, but I mean players that you expect the world from these guys, and maybe it is
franchise changers.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the problem. Nowadays, the way the NFL works, that's what you expect. Look at these number 1 quarterbacks overall that these teams, they draft and they expect to come in. Yes, there are gems out there. There's diamonds in the rough that you get out there and you polish them up, and by 4th or 5th week, you miraculously have a guy like C.J. Stroud who really shows he can do it. But a lot of times you end up with these players who come out and they don't pan out. And teams put so much into those players. I'm talking about the Raiders today. Talking about, I don't want my team to trade our first round picks for the next 4 years to trade up to a first rounder this year to try to get a quarterback or something. I'm like, I agree. This year more than any, there's plenty of talent coming out. I'm a big fan of, hey, find that guy that's a third rounder. Find that guy that's a third rounder that you can give him a little bit of time to build himself and see what happens. Because then at the worst, if he doesn't pan out, you're not out a first round pick. You're out a third round or a fourth round. That's a big thing to me. Teams are trading away the world to get these first overalls, or these top 5 picks, and they don't pan out the way that they want them to always. And it's because they set expectations way too high. And it makes for an interesting draft. I love watching the draft because it always makes it interesting to see. But at the same time, you almost know now watching the draft when these players are picked, not even just the caliber of player, but the scheme that guy's going into, that's not going to work.
Immediately, people, when they get drafted, you as a fan, you either go, ugh, or
Yeah.
and that could mean that. It's just your gut reaction will kind of give you a hint as to that was a bad pick. All right.
Well, I will say, so we're running out of time a little bit. We got a few more things to hit on real quick. Real quick, we'll hit on it. College football is over. College football is over. It's a done deal. I got to say, I enjoyed the national title game. Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines. Their players earned this championship. I know there's going to be some controversy over everything that happened this season, and maybe there should be. I don't know. I know how I feel about it personally. I feel like years before, if you were caught doing something like that, it was like a 2 or 3 year death penalty for your team. Felt like they kind of got a slap on the wrist this year for doing something that was kind of significant in my book. But it shouldn't go against the players, because the players played their hearts out. They did their job. They did what they were supposed to, and they earned every step of the way that championship. Washington, man, I'm going to say they tried to make it a game.
They were hanging around there for a little bit. I got a few notes about this game that I wrote down. Michigan just played bully ball.
Yeah.
They really did. They played great defense. They were up in Penix's face the entire
all
game.
game.
They were pressuring him. They were getting him off his spot.
I mean, he was hurting by the end of this
They
thing.
were making him uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So when you have I don't want to call it a finesse offense, but like a timing offense, a rhythm offense, like Washington has, they were getting in his face and they were making life uncomfortable for him. Maybe they didn't sack him. Maybe they didn't tackle him. Getting in his face, getting pressure on him sped things up.
And he's a wily quarterback. It's hard to do those things.
Yeah, and he's a great quarterback.
Absolutely.
And, I'm wondering if this is the new trend. Because I think Michigan was built, in my opinion, Michigan was built to beat Ohio State, their main rival. Ohio State, loaded with 5-star, 4-star talent, wide receivers, great quarterback, dynamic offense. Michigan was built to beat that. Mm-hmm. That's who they recruited. We're going to stop this. And now other teams are looking. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not about the dynamic offense. Maybe it's just about blocking well, tackling well, having a good running game.
Fundamental football.
I mean, and that's what a lot of teams back in the day were built on.
Yes.
So maybe they're hearkening back to that. Harbaugh says, enough with the bullshit. We're just going to beat the crap out of you. And we're going to keep running at you. And we're going to keep running at you. And by the fourth quarter, we're going to break your will. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to lean on you, and we're going to win the game. And that's exactly what they did last night, because Washington was hanging around. Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of back and forth and back and forth. But when it got to the fourth quarter, Washington was tired, and Michigan made the winning plays to win the game. It was quite an impressive performance.
I agree with what you said. That's putting it really perfectly. That because of the strength of that rivalry, I truly believe that Michigan goes in and we're not worried about the other 11 games of the regular season. We are here. We are building a team to beat Ohio State. And to Ohio State's credit, that's got to say something about your team, that you have a rival that basically builds a team focused on just beating you, and in the process of building a team that they had to build to be good enough to beat you, they win a national title.
And that's why Ohio State is probably swimming in a sea of butthurt right now, because Michigan just won the Natty, and they know that the whole team that Michigan was focused on beating them, and Ohio State, on the inverse, can't get over the Michigan hump. They beat the crap out of everybody, but can't beat Michigan. 3 years in a row they've lost to them.
Well, and
they want to talk about firing Ryan Day and all these other things. It doesn't make sense.
My thing is, though, to be honest with you, 100%, Ryan Day's not a bad coach, but Ryan Day, he did take over a pretty well-built Ohio State team. He has done some good things. This year has kind of shown Ryan Day's weakness as a coach. And knowing how Big Ten football is and knowing the bar that Ohio State has set, it won't surprise me if either Ryan Day does, end up in some hot water and ends up leaving or being forced out of Ohio State, or at the very least knows that next season is the pressure season of all pressure seasons, where it's like if you don't have the team, you need to do what Michigan did. Forget all these other teams. You need to build a team strictly to beat Michigan and worry about the rest of it later. If you don't do that as Ryan Day, you do not make it past another season. I don't see that.
When we talk about next season, will Harbaugh be the coach here next year? You think he's gone?
Yeah,
he's going to the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too. I agree with you. I think he's done with the NCAA. He says, you know what? I don't want to deal with your crap.
Yeah. I left my mark.
I've done everything I could possibly do here. I've won the Natty. I beat Ohio State. I've done what I needed to do. Michigan has been restored. They are now one of the elite programs.
Yep.
And now I'm gone.
Yep. I wholeheartedly agree with you there.
And y'all can, every NCAA person who's got it out for me can kiss my big fat white ass as I leave.
Yep. And that may be honestly something that he does to try to retain that title and make sure it doesn't get revoked is, hey, if I stay for another year, there's going to be some investigations going further. And this may be a situation where, like teams have seen in the past where sanctions happen after the fact. Titles are stripped after the fact. Awards are stripped after the fact. Maybe he thinks deep down, it's like, hey, I left my mark here. I did exactly what I needed to do. It's time for me to leave so that the school and the players don't end up paying for the mistake that I made. I agree with that. Again, teams do it all the time, just not the way they did it. It's like stealing signs in baseball. Every team does it when you have a guy on second. You're not supposed to record and go back through and look at these things. It does make a difference how they did it. It was sneaky. They knew they were being sneaky about it. It was not fair. But at the end of the day, the players played. The players played their hearts out. They played to the highest level that they possibly could. And they came away with the Big Show trophy. Washington, I'm going to say, Washington's receivers, not that sharp during the game in my book. A lot of that, like you said, comes from being a rhythm offense. That half a second difference that you make by putting pressure on Penix, that half a second makes all the difference when the throw is made or when the handoff is made or when you run that option, that read option, and you make that last second pull on the ball. It changes the dynamic of all of that. A couple of those catches should have been made, though, from Washington. Their receivers had the opportunity to make that game go in their direction. Like I said to you earlier before the podcast, to me, Washington easily left 14 points on the field. Easily left 14 points on the field, and that 14 points makes a big difference. Does Michigan change their play style and play a little harder or play a little different? If you score those, maybe, and maybe it still ends up the way it does. But I feel truly that at least I can call out two plays right off the top of my head that they left 14 points on the field, and that's huge in a national title.
It's the difference in the game.
Yes. So, again, congratulations to Michigan. Happy for the Wolverines. I know they've worked a long time towards it. They've come really close a few times, and we'll just see what happens in the future. I know the expanded playoff next year is going to make a big difference because it's going to be anybody's ball game.
Dude, I'm pumped.
It's going to be anybody's ball game. It really is. My only worry is I really hope, and I hit on it last week, I really hope that the NIL, the transfers, and all this draft stuff, I really hope this is not a trend that when we go to a 12-team expanded, there you have all these players that are like, you know what, I'm not going to risk it for a bowl game. I'm just going to sit. I'm really hoping that the 12-team at least helps go in the right direction.
Yeah, bring more guys in the fold like, hey, I got a shot.
Yes.
I got a shot at this. I got a shot at glory.
Bring prestige back to these bowl games.
Right. And so just when we're talking about the expanded playoff, we're going to have new conferences too. So I have some notes written down here, just a couple. The ACC added 3 new teams, SMU, Cal, and Stanford.
Yep.
Big 12, they added Arizona State, and Colorado, but they lost Texas and OU to the SEC.
Yep.
Excuse me. The Big 10, they had the Big 10. This last night's championship game would have been a conference game.
Yep.
Because it's Oregon, Washington, UCLA, and USC added to the Big 10 now.
The Big 10 definitely got the best handful from the Pac.
Oh, yeah, and the Pac-12 is now the Pac-2.
Yeah.
And they are just Oregon State and Washington State. And that's
which will be independents until they find a conference. I feel
right.
I feel like that's just how it has to go.
So, yeah, no, I agree. And the Pac-12, for as much crap as they're basically dissolving this year, they might have been the best top-to-bottom conference at this year with those 4 teams I listed, plus some other ones.
Yeah.
So the playoff next year, the way the structure is, it's going to be the 1 through 4 teams.
Yep.
Are going to your conference champions are going to get a bye.
Yep.
Minus the Pac-12. So your ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and SEC are going to get a bye, and then the next 4 will host the last 4.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to I think it's going to be great that these next 4 teams are going to host. It'll be almost like a FCS playoff vibe, having playoff games on campus.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, just right up the road up here in Blacksburg. I would love for that to happen, but a Blacksburg to have a home playoff game against a really good team. You're telling me small college towns like Blacksburg and other ones around the country wouldn't love to have just fans and all the attention focused on them, the economy boost, the attention, it's going to be exciting.
You have your Liberties and your JMUs and stuff that have a legit shot at least making the 12-team show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it next year.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, dude. And it's been a crazy year of college football. It's my favorite season of the year.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm pumped.
Let's see. So it's a lot of football. It's a lot of football, man. It's been a fun season so far. And, we've still got the playoffs to go. It's been really interesting. I've got a couple things. So it was brought to my attention last week, and I don't have a lot to hit on, but we're gonna start kind of making a little bit of a transition on this. Brought to my attention that, guys are just harping on football, man. It's a lot of football. It's a lot of football going on. And
I mean, we are in America.
you got a lot of football, and you've talked a little bit about baseball, but guys really aren't hitting on any basketball. Now, I'll be the first to tell you. I like to think I've got a good knowledge of football. I like to think I've got a good knowledge of baseball. I'm not as up on basketball. Now I try to watch. I know the rules. I know the sport. I know the teams. I've tried to really watch this last week, try to find some things. And I'm going to tell you, Tuesday night, or maybe it was Wednesday night, it made it really easy for me to pick one thing to try to start the transition into some basketball. One thing happened that night that I was like, well, at least I know what I'm talking about now. I didn't even have to really watch very much for the rest of the week because I knew exactly what I was going to be talking about. Talk about this yoga buzzer beater, man.
Yo, dude, that guy is insane.
And he was covered. Like, the defender made a play like he was there. I don't even know what to say about that just because it was immaculate. The dude stops on a dime, puts up what I would say a half beautiful, half disgusting shot as he let it go.
He's not known for his 3-ball.
No. Yeah, he throws this thing up, and somehow, I don't know how, he must know a branch manager or somebody, but somehow he got the bank to open late that night and drops this miracle 3 in. They're looking to go to overtime, and he's like, nah, ain't gonna be no overtime tonight. I got dinner reservations, baby. Let's get out of here.
I know, right?
And just drains this thing. Amazing shot. It gave me a reason to be a little more excited, because basketball is not my favorite sport, but it gave me a reason to be a little more excited to kind of watch some basketball this week and kind of get back into that swing. Great shot, man. And looking at some of these players this year, I'm just kind of starting to get acclimated to some of these guys. I know some big name players out there. You got your Steph Curry and you got your LeBron James, but some of these other guys that have really started to come through these last couple of years, I'm really kind of starting to get acclimated to them and how their play style is. And man, I'm gonna tell you now, basketball, I probably don't give it as much credit as I should for how exciting it can be. I love March Madness. I try to keep up with some basketball till we get to March Madness.
I always take the Thursday and the Friday off of the first 2 days of the tournament.
Yeah.
I take them off so I can sit at my house starting at 12 noon, crack open a 6-pack, and just watch the multitude of college basketball games. Mm-hmm. It is one of my it is my basketball heaven.
Yeah.
Just those 2 days where it's the opening of the tournament, there's 8-9 games going on. They're all good games.
Yep.
And the madness makes it right. The buzzer beaters, that upsets, all of those things.
Upsets kill
dude,
it, yeah.
So when we get to March, I cannot wait to talk about that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of those things. I Again, I don't really stay up on as much as I should, especially, to try to be a sports podcaster. I don't stay up on it as much, and I'm trying to do a little better about that. But it was interesting this week to see some things in basketball that if I hadn't really put a step forward to try to watch, I probably would have never known that they happened. But, man, there's some awesome players out there, some dynamic players out there in the NBA right now that I was just like, man, who is this guy? I'm like, if I told guys at work that watch basketball, they'd probably look at me and be like, what do you mean, who is that? Have you been living under a rock? No, I've just not been watching basketball. But I just had to hit on that. That was my one. That's how I wanted to start. I was like, got to find one good topic. I want to start with one good topic this week, and we'll move from there. But the damn buzzer beater was just wild. It was wild.
You always love seeing those, dude.
I can't imagine what the atmosphere in that building was when that ball dropped. I'm like,
and the Nuggets are a good team. I mean, they won the championship last year. They're a good team. And Jokic is the MVP candidate year in year, Mr. Triple Double. Like he does everything for that team. So to see him hit that buzzer beater, which is unlike him, that's not his game. Just to kind of hoist up a prayer and hit it.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
That's all it takes, man.
That's it. Well, I can't wait to move on, in weeks to come and kind of hit on this a little bit more. Another thing that I wanted to try to make the transition into a little bit, because I know we're getting into that part of the season. I know it kind of not really mirrors the NBA season, but they overlap a good bit as the NHL season. I personally don't have a team. I'm a Sabres fan by proxy because I am married to a Sabres family, all them Buffalonians. I love hockey. I know we watch a lot of local hockey because we've got a hell of a team.
Go
here.
Dogs.
Go Dogs, baby. President's Cup, baby.
That's right.
But I will say I wanted to throw something out. I wanted to do something a little different with the NHL. I told myself, I was like, you know what? Let's go big on the NHL. Let's do something wild. Something that maybe the chances aren't that great, but we're going to make it really worth it.
All right.
I am planning on, we're not planning on, we're announcing it right now. We're going to do a dark horse giveaway for the NHL.
Okay.
I've looked through the records. I've watched a little bit so far this season, some highlights and stuff. And I'm picking a team. Kind of at random, kind of just because I liked a little bit of the flow they had. I liked the way they had some things going.
So you're talking about the Caps, right?
No, we're not talking about the Caps.
Why?
Because.
Go Caps, go.
No Caps. No Caps. I'm announcing it right now. They got a long way to go. Season's still early. They're a sub-500 team. But I'm calling it right now. I picked the team and I said, you know what? I'm going to put eyes on these guys this year. I don't watch enough pro hockey. The rail yard dogs get my attention so much. I don't watch enough pro.
We got to go to a Dogs game, bro.
We're going.
Let's do it.
We're going. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
I love the Dogs game.
Hell yeah.
But I'm throwing it out there right now. For all the fans, everybody watching, I'm calling it out right now. So keep up with it. The Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't know what it is. I like the highlights. I like the jerseys. I like the style. Sub-500 team. They've got some issues right now. They've got some things they got to work through. I'm going to throw it out there right now. And I'm hoping that this podcast starts to spread out from Virginia and get over to Columbus so these Blue Jackets can get a little whiff of this, because I'm calling it right now. The Columbus Blue Jackets.
Maybe we can eat a couple of these blazing wings, get a little fire underneath them.
I don't know about that.
Get a little fire underneath them and rise up the standings.
If these Columbus Blue Jackets can turn it around, I'm calling it right now, and they can make the playoffs by the end of this season, when I say we're going to do another massive giveaway, I mean we are doing a massive giveaway.
Am I qualified?
I don't know if you're qualified if you're on the podcast. Are you a subscriber?
Yes.
I'm going to call it right now. And again, I don't really know. I put my finger on it. I looked at some teams. There was some sub teams down there. Sabres were kind of one of them. Sabres, not the greatest team this year. They've got some issues too. Didn't want to do the Sabres just because I'm married into the Sabres right now. Yeah, maybe if I find another team to root for, hey, maybe it becomes Columbus. Maybe that's my team. Maybe wilding out nothing anywhere close to what I root for in any of these other sports, maybe Columbus is my guys. But I'm calling it right now. Columbus can make the playoffs. I don't care if they're a bottom seed. They can turn it around and make the playoffs. We're going to do a huge giveaway.
Dude, let's go.
We're doing it. I've already got
Go Jackets.
I've got it in the works. I want to see it. I want to expand this market. I want to get this out to Columbus. I want to get this podcast out everywhere, but that's where you start. We're looking at Columbus, where we're moving this thing to. We're going to get some eyes and ears from Columbus on this thing, and I'm calling it right now. I want to see. I'm giving the juju out to Columbus right now.
All juju, no voodoo.
That's it. No
all
voodoo.
Juju, no voodoo.
All juju, good juju to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I want to see them turn it around. I want to see them go to the playoffs. And if they make the playoffs, every subscriber on this on this channel entered in to win. We're doing a massive giveaway. And I know that the funny thing is, it kind of sucks at this point because we haven't hit that first mark yet. Because it's just talk right now. It's just talk. Everything, all these giveaways are just talk. We got to get these subscribers. The subscribers are the ones that are going to make these giveaways happen. The more we get, the more we give. And that's how we're going to do it here at SportsBites. Even if my wife hates me for spending money unnecessarily on giveaways, we're going to do it, damn it. But that's what I've got tonight. We still got to do the damn review.
Snack review. Don't do it.
I don't think I can do it. I'm just calling it right now. I'm going ahead. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to eat another one of these because I know what they taste like. I've had these for a while.
Amazing. I have almost, if you hadn't noticed throughout the podcast, I've almost finished the bag.
Yeah.
So they're almost gone. These are very good. I like those.
Voodoo chips, top tier.
You described them perfectly, like a salt vinegar barbecue.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yes.
So as far as the wings go, the bullet barbecue wings, you can taste the bourbon in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I give those a 7.5 out of 10.
I was going to say I'm going 7 on the bullet bourbon.
They're pretty good. As far as the death wings, as the what were they called? Overload?
Blazing Knockout, I think.
Blazing Knockout. I give them a 1.
Yeah, they're a 2 for me. And even then, I can't believe I gave them a 2. That right there,
I can't enjoy them.
It's misery. It's like eating misery. It's like every regretful decision you've ever made in your life. That's what that
that's
tastes
in the
like.
wings.
It's in there.
Yeah.
The Voodoos, they're solid 8. Solid 8. I'm not a huge chip guy. Love them though. Solid 8. I'm giving them.
I've seen them at the store, and I was like, you know what? I gotta get them.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, the Blazing Wings, they're definitely the loser of the night. My stomach is going to be destroyed off of one wing. It's going to hurt later. But the bourbon wings, I'm like, these were good. I'm like, I can't deny these things right here. They were slamming. I'm going to eat another one because I'm a little bit hungry anyway.
We got to do another, we got to pick a theme for next time. Oh, hold on. Since I'm the guest, can I pick the theme for the next week?
What you got? When they cool off a little bit, you can actually taste more bourbon.
All right. It's not really going to be a flavor, but more a feeling. Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Craveable.
Okay.
Like, you get a feeling for these. You're like, oh my God, I'm craving Doritos right now. Or, I'm craving mozzarella sticks with marinara sauce right now. That makes, like, just whatever, like, when you're like 4 or 5 beers deep.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm craving this right now. Your most craveable snack. That's what I would pick for a theme next week. Whoever you have on your guest, tell them, hey, like, what's your most craveable snack? It's like when I'm in the weeds and I need just something to eat. I'm feeling it. Maybe I got a little banged up last night. I'm not feeling good. I need something that I know is going to taste good, that would just sound so good. When you say the name, you go, ooh.
Something that hits the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the theme I want.
I can dig it. Well, yet again, kind of in the works. I've got some plans. We'll see if it pans out. I'm thinking next week might be our first real Sports Bites back and forth hardcore debate. We're going to call it a debate because feelings might get hurt. I
just got a craving right now.
Yeah.
Jalapeno poppers.
Ooh.
Yes, that face goes, ooh.
Wasn't necessarily the jalapeno poppers, but armadillo eggs.
Oh, those shits are good. You made those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are good.
Damn, don't got mixed up.
See? Craveable?
Craveable.
Yeah.
Craveable. Yes.
We got it.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to close it out tonight. I think we hit on a lot of things. I also think I have bourbon sauce all over my face. Yeah, a lot of things. A lot of things happened this week. A lot of questions are going to get answered this week.
It's going to be a dynamic weekend of playoffs. I cannot wait
Who's legit?
to watch.
Who's losing? Who's legit? Who's the truth? Who is suspect? We're going to find out everything because now it's for all the marbles. One and done. That's it.
Let's go.
You have a bad week, you're out, baby.
Let's go.
I think it's going to be an interesting week. I can't wait to see what the wild card round brings us. With that, again, congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines for their national title. Well earned, well deserved. Congratulations, Jokic, for basically closing his eyes and throwing a ball up in the air and making it as the buzzer. I want to congratulate the Blue Jackets in a few months for making the playoffs and making us give away a big giveaway. And on top of that, I want to congratulate all the NFL teams that have made it to the show. And good luck to all of them. I hope that every one of them, except the Cowboys, does
and the
well.
Steelers, fuck them.
And with that, once again, I am Randall Horn. My guest tonight, my good buddy Brent Turner. We are Sports Bites, self-proclaimed #1 podcast, bringing you all the hot takes on everything that matters in the two best things in life: sports
and snacks.
Brent, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for being here, brother. We appreciate you. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We love y'all. Y'all have a great night.
See ya.
And subscribe, comment what you want to hear. Let's see it. Push those buttons. We love you guys. Good night.
Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag.